The time is exactly 1:15 p.m. A very good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, royal fathers, key stakeholders, partners, and friends of Tabitha Empowerment Center, TEC. My name is Gladys Emmanuel. I am the Advocacy Officer and in-house lawyer at Tabitha Empowerment Center, and I would be your host for today. To proceed, here are some ground rules. Kindly turn off your mic or audio when not in use. Feel free to use the chat box to drop your questions and comments. Additionally, the media team at Tabitha Empowerment Center have designed an attendance form via a link. Click on the link in the chat box and complete the form. Also, when making your comment, let's ensure to be cordial, civil. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, we would be welcoming a trailblazer, a visionary, a leader, a pioneer of change, a distinguished founder, a humanitarian par excellence, a respected advocate, a champion for the rights of women and girls, and the founder and executive director at Tabitha Empowerment Center, in the person of Madam Christina Uzo-Okamgba. We would be welcoming her for her welcome address. Over to you, Ma, for your address.
Thank you very much, Gladys. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed partners, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the launch and fundraising of the Girls Vanguard project. On behalf of the management, staff, and Board of Trustees of Tabitha Empowerment Center, TEC, I warmly welcome you to the official launch and fundraising of the Girls Vanguard project. It is a profound honor to have you join us today, despite your many commitments, to celebrate this milestone initiative. Around the world and here in Nigeria, girls continue to face human rights violations, limited access to quality education, health disparities, harmful stereotypes, and societal expectations that hinder their growth. These challenges are particularly pronounced in rural and peri-urban communities, where vulnerability is heightened. Yet, in the face of these barriers, our girls continue to show remarkable strength, resilience, and creativity. The Girls Vanguard project was born out of the need to channel this resilience into structured opportunities. It seeks to equip girls with knowledge, skills, and platforms to become leaders, innovators, and change makers. It is about breaking silence, breaking barriers, and moving from one silence to strength, ensuring that every girl, regardless of her background, is empowered to rise to her fullest potential. Today, as we unveil this project, let us be reminded that the empowerment of girls is not simply a moral obligation, but a necessity for sustainable development. When girls are given equal opportunities, societies thrive, economies prosper, and the future becomes brighter for generations to come. I urge all of us here, government representatives, development partners, civil society actors, traditional leaders, parents, and community champions to continue working together. Let us build a world where girls are valued, respected, protected, and supported to pursue their dreams without limits or boundaries. On behalf of TEC, I express my deepest gratitude to all who made this day possible. Our partners, including the Federal Ministry of Youth and Development, the Safe Haven Foundation, the Uwais Mayweather Aid Foundation, Girls Education Access Initiative, Peace Education, and Practice Network, and many other committed organizations and individuals. Your support has been instrumental in bringing this vision to life. As we officially unveil the Girls Vanguard project, let us commit ourselves to nurturing, uplifting, and celebrating the achievements of every girl. Together, we can create an enabling environment where their voices are heard, their rights protected, and their dreams realized. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And thank you for working with us on this journey to transform silence into strength. God bless you.
A heartwarming speech there by the founder and executive director of Tabitha Empowerment Center. At this point, one point that struck me while she was speaking was, remember that empowering girls is not only a moral duty, but also a strategic imperative for national development. Thank you very much, Ma. In the course of the program, some distinguished persons joined us, and it is proper to acknowledge them. The first, of course, on the list is the founder and executive director of Tabitha Empowerment Center, in the person of Madam Christina Uzo-Okamgba. Next, we also have the vice chairperson of the Board of Advisory of Tabitha Empowerment Center, in the person of DCP Elias Uzo-Amaka. Then we have the Honorable Pioneer Mandate Secretary for Women Affairs Secretariat. She is Honorable Dr. Adedayo Lani Benjamins, and she's not attending this program alone. She came along with Pajok Beatrice, who is the Director, Gender Development Department, Mr. Idris Yahaya Atta, who is the Acting Director, Child Development Department, Sani Ainot Tayo, who is Acting Director, Women Development Department, Eso Ekpene Ideba, who is the Head Legal Unit, Okosa Jo Ngozi, who is the Family Department Coordinator or Lead, Moabi Awal Beatrice, who is the Head Disability Unit, Aponze Cynthia Ifwako, who is the Head Planning Research and Statistics PRS, and finally Mahmoud Baba, who is the Legal Assistant to the Permanent Secretary, Women Affairs Secretariat. We will carry on with the rest of the recognition in the course of the program, but up next on our agenda is the keynote address. And to do us the honors of undertaking this task, we are delighted to welcome Barrister Rita Abah Lasoju, who is the Assistant Manager, Programs and Partnerships at the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Nigeria. You're welcome for your keynote address.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rita Abah Lasoju, and I'll be delivering a keynote address on behalf of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Nigeria. On behalf of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Nigeria, I bring you warm greetings and profound appreciation. It is indeed with great joy and gladness that we are standing here today, joining hands with Tabitha Empowerment Center and its other distinguished partners in celebrating the launch of this groundbreaking initiative, the Girls Vanguard project. FIDA Nigeria has, since its inception, remained steadfast in the protection, promotion, and preservation of the rights, welfare, and dignity of women and children in Nigeria. Our vision is very clear: to build a just, peaceful, and equitable society where women and girls can live to their fullest potentials. This is because we recognize that no one can achieve its full potentials while half of its population are constrained by issues of inequality, discrimination, and harmful practices. For several decades, we have been united in a shared vision to create a world free from violence and discrimination. We have continued to raise awareness, supported survivors, and pushed for policy reforms to protect the vulnerable amongst us. Yet, the struggle is far from over, as Nigeria continues to record some of the biggest rates of gender-based violence, including rape, domestic violence, and femicide. The Nigerian government has made various efforts to address sexual gender-based violence and related issues, including issues of child, early and forced marriages. Yet these efforts The Nigerian government has made various efforts to address sexual and gender-based violence and related issues, including child, early and forced marriages. The efforts of the government have included enactment of key legislative instruments such as the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015, the Child Rights Act 2003, the Anti-Torture Act 2017, and also the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015. These are frameworks that aim to protect women and girls while providing mechanisms for prosecuting offenders. For example, the VAP Act 2015 is specifically designed to address all forms of violence against individuals in both public and private lives. This act offers protection for victims and then reformed outdated laws concerning rape and sexual assault. And then the government had also developed gender-focused policies such as the National Gender Policy and the National Strategy for the Acceleration of Girls' Education in Nigeria. We also have the National Action Plan on the Elimination of Female Genital Mutilation in Nigeria. These are various instruments that have been designed to create a supportive framework for addressing gender-related issues and promoting equality. However, one very vital part of this legislative framework, one very vital challenge has always been brought to bear. That is the significant gaps between the provision of these laws and their effective enforcement. These discrepancies raises concern about the adequacy of legal protections and the challenges of ensuring accountability for violators. The implementation of these several frameworks aimed at preventing and addressing gender-based violence is hindered by deeply rooted social norms, cultural practices, and religious belief. These barriers reduce the effectiveness of protective measures for women and girls, particularly at the subnational levels, where enforcement mechanisms are often weak. And then one of the most pressing consequences of this systemic gap is the undereducation of the girl child. You agree with me that millions of girls in Nigeria continue to face significant barriers in accessing and completing quality education, largely due to cultural and religious biases, economic hardship, harmful traditional practices such as early and forced marriages. These factors have continued to contribute to the perpetuation of low enrollment, high school dropouts, and poor educational attainment among girls within the Nigerian communities. In many communities across Nigeria, including the Federal Capital Territory, where this project is currently being implemented, entrenched cultural norms that prioritizes the education of boys over girls, viewing girls primarily through the lens of domestic roles and early marriages, have continued to put female children at a disadvantaged position. Religious misinterpretation have also been used to justify the withdrawal of girls from school. Recent statistics estimate that over 10.5 million children in Nigeria are out of schools, with girls largely affected. In 2017, the national completion rate at the primary school level for female was at 51.24%. And then at the secondary school level, we have only about 36% of girls who complete their education, as many are forced into early marriages or subjected to exploitative practices such as child trafficking and domestic servitude. Furthermore, evidence studies in Nigeria have indicated that early child forced marriages and child trafficking are twin evils impeding the rights of children in Nigeria, especially girls. Many children, particularly girls, are illegally adopted or sold into domestic work, forced labor, or prostitution. Women who are unable to cater for their children due to poverty and other social factors may be coerced into giving up their children to adoption rings or traffickers, often without their consent or fully understanding the long-term consequences of their actions. On the other hand, child marriages have remained a grave concern. Nigeria currently accounts for one of the highest rates of child marriages globally, with approximately 44% of girls married before the age of 18. Such marriages not only truncate education but exposes girls to health risk, poverty, and life cycles of disadvantage. The ripple effects are visible in the high rates of teenage pregnancy, where 1 in 4 Nigerian girls between the ages of 15 to 19 have already begun childbearing. These challenges are most acute in rural areas where literacy rates are low and economic hardship are high. Additionally, there is a clear connection between education, poverty, and teenage pregnancy in Nigeria. In regions where literacy rates are lower, teenage pregnancies are significantly higher. Beyond education and poverty, other factors contribute to high teenage pregnancy rates, including societal pressures, sexual violence, and the role of traditional values. Many young girls fall victims to rape, and those who become pregnant are often forced into marriages with their abusers due to social stigma and economic hardship. Ladies and gentlemen, these realities demand urgent, coordinated, and multi-sectoral action. We must address poverty, we must continue to invest in education, we must continue to dismantle harmful cultural practices and empower girls with the knowledge and skills to make informed choices. The growing demand for intervention necessitates greater collaboration and resource mobilization from stakeholders across board. The Girls Vanguard project embodies a bold step towards dismantling barriers, amplifying girls' voices, and creating sustainable pathways for them to thrive as leaders and change makers. By equipping girls with the right skills, knowledge, and opportunities to excel, we are not only investing in individuals, but we are strengthening the social and economic fabric of our communities and the nation as a whole. We commend the Honorable Minister for Youth and the Senior Special Advisor on Gender Matters for their endorsement and the support towards this laudable initiative. We also recognize the commitment of Safe Haven Foundation and the OASI Maidawa Aid Foundation and other strategic partners who are lending their voices and resources to this noble cause. At FIDA Nigeria, we see this project as a clarion call, a call to government, institutions, and communities, and indeed every individual, to create safe spaces where girls can learn, lead, and excel without fear of intimidation. We must remember that when a girl is empowered, she becomes the heartbeat of transformation, lifting families, shaping communities, and inspiring generations to come. As we launch and fundraise today, let us reflect on the words of a timeless truth that says, when you educate and empower a girl, you change the world. Let us therefore commit not just our resources, but our voices, our influence, and our platforms to ensure that every girl in Nigeria has the opportunity to rise to her fullest potentials. On behalf of FIDA Nigeria, I reaffirm our unwavering support to the Girls Vanguard project. We are confident that this initiative will become a beacon of hope, resilience, and empowerment of girls across the Federal Capital Territory and our nations. Together, let us write a new story where no girl is left behind and every girl is equipped to lead with courage, purpose, and vision. Thank you, and may this historic occasion mark the beginning of countless success stories for the Nigerian girls. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister Rita Lasoju, for that insightful address, which stresses the need to support, empower, and protect the girl child. Next, we would be recognizing other persons, partners who just joined in. We have Ambassador Moses Abolade, who is the Executive Director, Peace Education and Practice Network, PEPNET. We equally have Barrister Hosanna Gani, who is the founder, Reformers League. We have Mr. Solomon Oguche, who is the Programs Manager, Education as a Vaccine. We have Oyetimeyi Bolanle Caroline, who is one of our mentors. We have an award-winning artist, lawyer, and lecturer in the person of Abutu. We equally have Mr. Jobson Andover, who is one of the mentors. We have an international award-winning multidisciplinary artist in the person of Ekene May. And then we have Diane Duke, who is one of the mentors joining in from the United Kingdom. And of course, to you, our wonderful parents, beneficiaries, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. Up next, we would be taking the next set of goodwill messages. And in this session, we would be hearing from the following. The Honorable Dr. Adedayo Lani Benjamins, who is the Pioneer Mandate Secretary, Women Affairs Secretariat, Federal Capital Territory Administration. We would equally be hearing from Honorable Kehinde Charity Awojola, who is the SSA to the Minister for Youth and Development on Gender Matters. We would equally be hearing from the founder, Safe Haven Foundation, former Director General of NAPTIP, and a Professor of Public Law, the person of Professor Fatima Waziri Azi. And the final on this session, we would be hearing from the founder, Uwais Mewada Aid Foundation, and the person of Mr. Abdullahi Mewada. Up next, Honorable Mandate Secretary Ma, you have the floor.
And the team Tabitha. And I'd also like to celebrate them for championing an initiative that doesn't just challenge us, but honestly inspires every one of us just to keep doing what we're doing from our own corners all around the world and in our different places of engagement and human development and impact with focus on the girl child. One of the first thrusts of my pioneer mandate after 48 years of there never being an FCT commission for women and coming in as a pioneer mandate secretary for women and children was to set up a desk for the adolescent girl child. Because I've always believed this from my place of advocacy. Prior to coming into politics and political office,